Deathpixie disclaimer. This video was originally recorded in September 2024. There is swearing and profanity. Sources are listed in the description. This video is not monetized. Any ads you see provide revenue to the hosting site, not the creators. If you made it this far, geez, you have a lot of patience.
Deathpixie dancing on the lip of madness!
Welcome to Shitty PowerPoint Theater. Dignity not included.
All right, Sir Mackenzie Bowell is up next. He is the only prime minister to be forced from office by his own cabinet. Isn't that fun?
So as you can tell, he did a very good job.
Yeah, clearly. He was in the Conservative Party. He got kicked out. Yeah, it's illustrative.
It is illustrative. Yeah.
In this case, he actually outlived his wife Marriott, which is a name I can't say I've heard before, and they had 9 children. Now, he wasn't in office very long, and I say this because his pro-cons looks a little biased. He didn't get to do much, and the big one was the Manitoba school question. Now, I do want to say this. The Manitoba school question is not concerning residential schools. It's concerning the funding of religious schools. That's where the schools question is coming into effect. So there was a cabinet revolt over that and his indecisiveness. 7 ministers resigned from cabinet. They blocked their replacements, and he was forced to resign. So there you go. His major quote is a long one. So, I have lived long enough to come to the conclusion that if a man believes in one particular principle or a particular creed and thinks it is the best, it is not for me to interfere with his conscience. Nor do I think anyone else should interfere with his conscience or with the course which he may think proper to pursue, so long as he does not attempt to interfere with others. And I feel that sort of idea of I'm not bothered unless you're interfering with my human rights, that's an attitude that I grew up with from my parents. So there is an attitude of I find amongst Canadians where it's like, look, I don't mind what you do, but don't interfere with my rights under the charter. Don't interfere with my human rights. So that's why I thought the quote was nice to mention. There is a great quote from these 2 historians. Was not a skilled leader, and he proved completely inept at making decisions or managing his cabinet and parliament. Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! The gibberish is here. How did the gibberish get through?
I don't know, Mary. How did the gibberish get here?
I deleted it. Ugh. Oh well.
Well, what does it mean? It obviously means something.
I have no idea. He also bobbed and weaved. Ipsum
venibus justo vivere blandit. In other words, he's now cursed.
Yes. He bobbed and weaved, trying to avoid the necessity of forcing remedial legislation through his cabinet and House of Commons. Because he was a senator, he could not argue his points in Parliament and had no one to represent him in Parliament. So that's something to be noted. Another quote from him is, I hope the time is fast approaching in Canada when we shall never hear the question raised of a man's birth or the creed he professes. We live in a country and under a constitution in which every man has a right to act as his judgment dictates or as his education leads him upon matters of this very important character. So there you go. Back to the sexy moose. Anyway, that's all we can afford. He apprenticed with a printer at a town newspaper, the Belleville Intelligence, and then he became a full printer, an editor, and an owner of that. He was a Freemason and an Orangeman. So, Orangeman, how you feel about it? He was in the House of Commons and maintained his seat for 25 years. He was also, if you remember, instrumental in having Louis Riel expelled from the House. He went to the cabinet. He was Minister of Customs, Minister of Militia and Defense, Minister of Trade and Commerce. He actually visited Australia in 1893, which led to the first Leaders' Conference of British Colonies and Territories that was held in Ottawa in 1894. Went to the Senate, became leader of the government in Senate, then became the Prime Minister. He was ousted, but he remained a senator until he died. So it seems that he was a better senator than he was Prime Minister.
And that's okay.
Yeah. Not without some controversy, but some interesting things that he did do. Want to say anything else on him?
So, you're going to come to a Prime Minister soon, Wilfrid Laurier, who believed that compromise was the key to Canada.
Mm-hmm.
Just as a whole. I feel that this past Prime Minister also believed that compromise was the key to Canada, but the compromise was that he did not want to make any statement whatsoever. And
Which
that's
never
what
works.
ended up... Yeah, and that's what ended up costing him. That's his indecisiveness is what led to that revolt. One of the only ones to happen to that scale where he's ousted by his own party. Not having a motion defeated. You know, not having a vote of no confidence, but being ousted by your party due to resignation.
Yeah. Essentially,
There's a big difference.
Essentially Uncle Phil and Jazz from Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Pretty well.
Yeah, like that's what basically it. Ah!
Hey, this is Trapdoor Crabsworth for deathpixie. If you liked our content, please like this video and subscribe. And if you want to see more, just check out our links in the description. Do it. Do it or Miri will kill you.